Welcome back to the sewing room. I'm Laura and I'm here to talk to you today about why you should unplug your sewing machine and really everything in the sewing room when you're not there. Now some of you are already saying to yourself, of course I unplug everything in any room where I'm not at the time because leaving things plugged in, even if they're off, does still draw a little power from your power supply and therefore it wastes energy. But even without that, there are extra good reasons to leave things unplugged in your sewing room if you at all can, and especially if you have a vintage machine. It's extra important, and I'll show you why. Would you be surprised to hear that this machine, the Singer 301, does not have a power switch? If I plug it in, it does have a light switch, but that is not the same as a power switch. I'll show you why. I'm going to turn that off. I'm going to unthread the machine and I will show you that it will still run. All right, ready? Plugged in. Light switch is off. I'm going to hit the pedal. The lights are off, but power is still home. The machine can still run. And that's obviously not great. So in order to really turn the machine off, you have to unplug it. Now fortunately, at some point between when that machine was made in 1952 and today, people got a little bit wise and realized that you really needed a power switch on a sewing machine. Outlets for power aren't always very conveniently located and people were leaving them plugged in all the time, and eventually the knee lever was getting bumped or the foot pedal was getting bumped or the switch inside those things was failing, and essentially starting a fire and burning your house down is just not a great idea for anybody. So, you know, they gave us switches, which is great, but even a switch isn't perfect. As I said, switches can fail, and so you're really better off leaving the machine unplugged to protect yourself. It also protects the machine because, you know, low amperage power coming through any motor is going to shorten its life, and if you're, as God forbid, a power line got struck by lightning or something, then you wouldn't want your machine, you know, subjected to that kind of shock. To further state the obvious, irons and any equipment that is meant to heat up should definitely not be left plugged in and unattended. But you know, it's easy to forget, did I leave the iron on? Is my press plugged in? What's going on? So if you're someone who's maybe a little forgetful like me, it's a great idea to use a power strip. This one may or may not have surge protection. I don't actually care, but I always leave it plugged in under my ironing board. It's where my iron and one of my machines plugs in. And at the time that I was kind of most likely to be forgetting to turn things off, I actually also had a lamp plugged in to this guy that was on all the time. Not really because I needed the lamp, but because if I forgot to turn the power strip off at the end of the day or at the end of my sewing session, it was really easy for me to look into the room from the other room and see if I had accidentally left this on. Now ideally you also are unplugging anything from your power strip as well when you're done with it, so your iron, your machine, whatever, not the lamp, but it's a good little safety reminder for those of us who are maybe a tiny bit forgetful and might sometimes leave things plugged in when we shouldn't. Just to have this as kind of a little extra step to help make sure that everything is safe and sound.